Hello and welcome to Design Boss Dialogue, the podcast where bold and ambitious women in interior design come for real conversations to transform and take their businesses to new heights. I am your host, Lisa Marie Elkhadraoui, interior designer and business mentor, here to share my experiences and insights into running an interior design business, as well as empowering you to build the confident, profitable design business you've been dreaming of and truly deserve. In this space, we blend creativity with strategy to help you craft your success and thrive in the world of design. Every episode is packed with unfiltered, no BS conversations, daily inspiration, and actionable business tips to turn your passion into a thriving, cash-rich business. Together, we're redefining what it means to succeed in the interior design industry, one intentional, game-changing decision at a time. So get ready to step up, elevate, and create the design empire you've always envisioned. Welcome back to day 27 of the Advent Calendar Christmas podcast. And today I'm going to be joined by a powerhouse of a woman. Serena is a business mentor and premium group coaching mastermind expert. She mentors ambitious female coaches and service providers to rise to six figures with a strategic luxe business model, premium messaging, and elevated identity. Being a certified mindset coach and NLP practitioner, Serena also stretches your vision and identity so you can create wild success. And today we're going to be diving into the conversation of why you need a premium service suite offer in your business in 2026, what that looks like, as well as buying trends from 2025 versus what to expect in 2026, and how you can pivot your business to accommodate all of that. Serena, welcome to the Design Boss Dialogue Advent Calendar Christmas podcast. It's lovely to have you on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I know most of our conversations are in WhatsApp and in real life, so it's so great to talk to you here.
It's lovely to have you on. And I know today, I can't wait to dive into today's conversation because it's going to be all about why you should have that premium signature offer built out in your business.
Yes, and it's something that I am so passionate about because I help all of my clients with this, but I've had so many personal experiences through this journey as well, and I've seen the benefits of having a premium signature offer, but I've also seen what can happen if you don't have one. So that's why I'm so passionate about it. And the way that I see the industry going next year, and obviously I work with a lot of service providers and coaches, consultants, experts, and I know that you work with all of those people, plus a lot of interior designers. It's so important across industries in 2026. So I'm so glad that we're having this conversation now because everybody needs to hear it.
I think it's also a conversation that's going to get people really thinking about their journey before they go into 2026, which we're only a couple of days away before, we start that new year. So tell me a little bit about your journey of, what you've seen in 2025, how that's affected your business and how you're getting ready for 2026 as well.
Yeah, so I'll take you back a little bit further. So I started my business in 2020, and for the first few years, I did focus on a small number of quite core offers. So I would have I would call it a lead-in offer, but it was still, 4 figures. And then I would have a higher ticket offer. And that flow of having just 2 core signature offers that I was known for, where one flowed into another, and I had that client journey, really helped me with my profits for the first, 4 years of my business. It really helped me with my client retention rate. It was really high because people did graduate into another offer. And it really helped me with my monthly reoccurring revenue because that was stacked. Each client is paying per month in a payment plan, quite a nice amount. So really each offer was kind of generating a salary in itself. So I saw all these benefits right through to when we had our son in 2023. And that business model helped me to have a maternity leave where I had a salary coming in, but I was at soft play or I was watching Dancing Fruit. So it worked really well. But, I do always think it's really important to experiment in business as well. And, last year, we started the journey of talking about expanding our family. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to experiment a little bit about how I could really further grow this reoccurring income. And I was getting all of this different advice about all these different offers and low ticket offers and memberships. They are amazing and people do them really, really well. But what I found in that journey is veering away from that like core, just a few offers that you are known for, actually I found gave me a bit of a dip actually in the revenue that came in, the profit, but also I had a different type of client coming to me. So I released some low ticket offers thinking this is going to be it. Like they're so value packed and they're amazing. But what I found was when I charged less, you know, I'm the same. I have been in memberships where I've been in them for a year and I literally have never logged in because it's lower ticket. And I found that with some of the clients were incredible, but some of them, you know, if you're busy, you're paying about £100 a month, like it kind of matters or doesn't matter if you turn up. And that for me is not really why I started my business. So that was a part that I didn't love when all of my clients before have always been like 100% committed. And then I found that it took obviously so many more clients to get to the same revenue. So actually where I wanted to lean back and have a bit more time for me, I was having to then grow all of my numbers in all these different places. When actually, if I'm in a phase of life where I've got a, you know, family of young kids, I want to be thinking, what is the most profitable way for me to run a business, impact and serve as many clients as I can at a really high level of service, and have the space for me to live my life at the same time. So that was an experience that I noticed last year. And actually then going back to just two core offers, mainly one premium signature offer, which for me is my mastermind, and a leading group offer, which is still over four figures, you know, that for me, I have like 2 to 5 hours of calls a week. I generate great profit in the business and I have so much time. And the clients that I'm now bringing in, they are all in. They're all in. They take so much action. I could speak to them at the weekend if I wanted to, just because I love chatting to them about life and clothes and things like that. So that has been the personal journey I've been on with this. And I've seen my clients be the same, where they have maybe wanted to start a family or grow their family, or they just want to travel every single month. And it's a way for them to stand out in the industry, become known, and also serve high level clients and generate a really great revenue and profit every single month. So that's like, I'd say, personal story and client stories. But what I love with this for me, because it works for me so well, is that it's really in line with industry shifts. And I would say this is, you know, relative in my industry, but also across industries, you know, with a lot of interior designers, that generally buying behaviours have changed across every industry. There's less trust, buyers are more discerning, we're more careful about where we put our money, people have a little less disposable income, and people generally with AI, like we're in content overload, information overload. So there's a lot of information out there all of the time. Like the amount of like emails and ads that I'm being targeted by, not even just from coaching, but like all the brands, everything. Like 1 minute I'm like, oh, I do need a new pair of trainers, and I'm like, no, I do need that handbag, just because of like complete overload of information. So it's so important, instead of having so many different offers at so many different price points, if you can have a premium signature offer that makes you known for what you do with that highest level client, it's the most profitable and most freedom-based way to run any business in 2026.
I really harness all of that because I can also see that from my own journey as well, really, really well, through the interior design industry, but also through my coaching and mentoring company as well. So with trends that we've seen, or certainly trends that we're going to look at in 2026 with buyers or buying journeys, what do we really need to look out for if we're going to be putting that premium high ticket offer out there? What are some of the buying signals or trends that we need to be aware of or adapt into our business?
Okay, I have a few points on this. I'm going to try and make sure I get through them all. So I would say the first thing is, when it comes to that signature offer, you need to think about the offer first. So for anybody thinking, okay, I've got lots of millions of different offers, if you can craft what that one premium signature offer is and how it supports, I like to call it a 10K problem. So for your premium client, what is the problem they would pay £10,000 for? And if they didn't have £10,000, they would find it. So what is that problem? How does your offer solve that problem? That is your signature offer. And in there needs to be your method, how you do things. So you need to figure out what that offer is first, and then you need to figure out what the positioning of that is. I like to call it like a point of difference positioning. So now, next year, people aren't just buying into, group programs, one-to-one calls, masterminds, or even interior design services. They're not just buying into an interior design service. They're buying into why you do what you do in the way that you do it. So if I think about interior designers, there are, many in the world, but they're not all exactly the same, right? Like with your clients, I'm sure that they're all slightly different. They've got their different styles or their own different clients. And that is why their clients will choose them. So with your premium signature offer, it needs to be very clear. Why would somebody choose yours over somebody else's that is quite similar? So you can get clear on this by thinking, who is this for? And how do I serve that person in my own way? Like, what is my point of view? What is my point of difference? What makes this sales program different to somebody else's sales program? And if I take that example, sometimes it might be the how. So I support my clients to make more money and make more sales. There will be so many different other offers out there that do the same. But my point of view is that you do it with a premium signature offer, premium positioning, and you do it with premium messaging. And that's what's inside. So if somebody wants to do that, somebody wants to have 2 to 5 hours of calls a week and generate high profits, you can come to me because that's how we do it. That is my point of difference in my masterminds and groups. And the same with an interior designer, like what is that interior designer with her high ticket package? What makes hers different to somebody else's? What is that point of difference? Because where there is so much noise, you need to cut through that noise and stand out. Yeah. So what is that edge? What is that point of difference that you can put onto that offer that makes it the only choice for your clients? Sometimes I would maybe start with, if it's not, I'm thinking that sometimes like an interior design program could be slightly different to, say, like a coaching program. And it might be starting off with thinking, say with my clients, they want interior design, they want me to do up their house, but what do they actually want? Because they don't actually want somebody to come in and choose colours. Like, it's not the only reason, because they could do that. They want it for a specific reason. Are they wanting it not just because of time, but what are they trying to create in their home? What vibe are they trying to create? Like, what feeling are they trying to create? And is there a theme with all of your clients that it's the same type of design or the same reason why? They might all look different, but there's the same reason why they want an interior designer. So I'd always think with my premium clients, what are they saying that they want? I want an interior designer, but what are they really saying that they want? I want to create a home that feels like this, or I want to create a home that has these elements and makes me look like this and, look like this on the outside. So what is that real reason why? Because premium buyers don't just buy into an offer, they're buying into the why. They have they buy in because they've got deep desires, and you answer that with your offer.
And do you find that if you recognise patterned behaviour, that you can craft your premium service and offering stronger based on patterned recognised behaviours from what you have seen with many different clients needing the same?
Yeah, 100%. I've actually done that a lot in the business, where I've gone along my business and, made a plan for the whole year and said, right, I'm going to hit this revenue number this year with all these offers, and this is the exact plan. And then I've got 6 months in and I've got different clients coming to me telling me they want something in particular and they want it in this certain way. And I've actually crafted my one of my most favourite rounds of my mastermind actually was crafted because I had certain clients telling me they wanted a space, being surrounded by a certain level of client. And I was like, 4 or 5 of you are telling me the same thing. So should we just do this? And I sent them private invites behind the scenes, and it was the easiest, 20K in sales I've ever made because it was designed based on what people want and need. And I truly believe that all of your offers should be based on that process. It might not even be your current clients. It might be having conversations with people who fit your client description and them telling you, this is what I want and this is why I want it. You literally create an offer that answers that thing, and it's going to be the easiest sell that you're going to make. And I think that's where I think a lot of people get stuck, is they then spend time creating this premium signature offer thinking it's going to be the best thing, but it's only come from their own mind, and it's not been validated by the people who are actually going to buy it. And then there's the whole feeling really disheartened, spent all this time putting it together and selling it and launching it, and then people haven't bought, but they haven't had that validation from that process that you've just talked about. They haven't had that validation in the first place.
And I think it's so important to kind of look at the data. Now, it's obviously a little bit more difficult if you are listening and you are a new business and you're starting from scratch. Maybe there is going to be no patterned behaviour data recognition. So what would you give advice to someone that's maybe starting out in a service-based industry that doesn't have that data behind them or that understanding of a client journey of what they really want to craft that signature offer?
So I bet when I'm about to say this, there's going to be some people listening rolling their eyes, but this is really like the most exciting and sexy thing you can do in your business. It's market research.
Oh, I love market research.
I know. Sometimes I say it and I can see people are like, ugh, but honestly, it's so exciting. Like if you can think, you can do this at the beginning of your business. I do market. I've been in business 5.5 years. I do market research now. You literally can ask ideal clients all of these incredible questions, and whatever they tell you becomes your marketing. And if you use that process, which is so simple, if you use that process, your offer will sell because you are taking your messaging from your clients, literally from your ideal client's mouth. And I promise anyone listening to this, if you haven't done it, it is so exciting. It's so sexy to do. Please do it in January.
Please do all the market research. And I think, you can tap into local Facebook groups, you can tap into business groups, you can tap into, if you're building an audience on Instagram or social media, or by asking friends and family and extended friends of friends questions about where they are at. And obviously, if we're tailoring this to interior designers, then, it's simple questions like, do you struggle? What areas of the home do you struggle? Do you struggle with putting colour together? Is it fabrics, colours and textures? And really thinking about, I suppose, for other service-based businesses, asking where they are at in their certain point of journey. I mean, Serena, when you're doing your market research, are there particular questions that you like to ask when you're crafting a premium signature offer?
Yeah, so that one that you just gave about the challenges is the first question that I ask. So with a service provider, I'll often ask just a few background questions about their business first. So when did you start your business? How would you describe your stage of business? But then I would go in with I call it the challenge question. And I would say something like, if you were to describe your top 3 challenges, and for me, it's, when it comes to your business and selling offers, but with an interior designer, as you said, when it comes to the decorating or the way that your house looks. So what are those top 3 challenges that you face? And those are the ones, if you take their exact words, that needs to be lifted off into your marketing, because that's what they describe. Because you might be thinking, okay, so if I'm an interior designer, my client is going to be struggling with colours and textures. They might not be saying that. I mean, they might be, but they might not be saying that. Maybe they're saying, oh, I'd love to do it. I have zero time, because for somebody's ideal client, they might have an amazing eye and they might know how to do it, but they are so busy that they are like, I'm just going to get somebody else in. I'm going to tell you what I want and I want somebody else to do it. Like maybe that's your niche and ideal client. Whereas somebody else, they might say, I have an eye. I know I want it to look cozy, but I have no idea about colours and I have no idea about this. So it can be slightly different for each person. So I would always start off with the challenge question. And when you ask that question, I like to see it as like pulling threads. So if they say one thing, how can you pull on that thread to find out more? A little bit like a toddler that's like, why? If they say, I struggle with colours, like I know I want it to be neutral, but like is white, is beige. And then maybe you can pull on that and say, oh, if you want it to be neutral, like what's the reason for that? And then they might tell you like, oh, I'm just so overstimulated in my life, I just want a bit of beige. And then they might say, oh, that's interesting. And then ask another question just to really understand that person. So I would say the first question is challenges, but then that process you want to apply, the thread process, to every question. And then I always ask what they want. So I like to word it as, if I could grant you 3 wishes now that would come true right now when it comes to your offers and selling, or if I could grant you 3 wishes now for your house, the top 3 things that you want, what would you say? Because then you you can ask more for more later, but you get to know what their priorities are and how they describe them. What's the most important thing to them?
That's so important, isn't it? Understanding those market research key priorities as well. So with obviously people going into 2026 and having a premium signature offer within their business being important, and obviously, starting out doing the market research or really understanding your audience. Let's talk about the type of buyers that are attracted, or pivoting buyers to premium signature offers in your business.
So I like to call them premium buyers. And sometimes I get people saying to me, oh, I don't know if I'm ready in my business for premium buyers. Everybody is ready. I want, whether you're just starting your business, no matter what the industry, think about premium buyers. And I think that some people see premium buyers as it's the people who are selling high tickets. So that would buy high tickets, So anybody who would buy a package that's over £10,000. But I don't believe it's just about what they would pay. So to me, premium buyers are the people who are actually ready to invest. They're ready to invest. They know exactly what they want. They're looking to invest. They're just looking for the right option. And most of the time, yes, they would more likely pay a higher premium because they're so ready for that change. And they're also the types of clients that you vibe with the most because they were ready. They aren't so worried about whether they should or whether they shouldn't. So, and you really align with them. So that's how I would describe a premium client. And whether you are at the beginning of your business or you're later, it's so important to get super clear on who your premium client is. My premium client would be different to yours and to somebody else's. But if you can get clear on what stage they are in their journey and how they describe all the questions we just talked about, their challenges, what they want, how do they describe that? That's super important, because if we think about any of us, and if I think about maybe when I've invested in things in the house or when I've invested in, things for my business, there's been a point in my journey where I've been ready to invest and I've been a premium client, but there's also been a time in my journey where I was a little bit further back, where I was following people on Instagram, but I wasn't in a place where I was ready. And that's the way that I like to describe it to clients. It's not that these people are on a pedestal and they just pay more. It's that they are ready to invest already. They're looking for an interior designer. They are looking for a coach or a consultant. They're already looking for those things. They just need to find the right choice. So for me, if you want premium buyers who are really ready and all in, always think about that point of the journey where they're actually ready. And you'll find that their way that they talk about their challenges and what they want is actually different to somebody who's earlier on. I review a lot of work for clients. So I look at sales pages and landing pages, and I looked at a client the other day and I skimmed through and I said, some of this is amazing, but some of it, and I highlighted all of the lines, some of it is actually speaking to somebody who would have no interest in investing right now. And it's purely because of the challenges that she was describing. Her premium client wouldn't speak like that. So it's very good to first get clear on who is your premium client. They're that person in that stage of the journey. And I'd say general traits of premium clients is that they love certainty. So they love it when you're certain. They love to see proven methods or proven case studies. They love those types of things. So the data. Those are the traits of premium buyers that will be, any premium buyer will have those traits. If you can make sure that in your messaging and marketing and selling, it's infused with certainty and it's infused with you being sure and case studies and things like that, like they love stuff like that.
I love that. And I think it's so important when we come round to narrative framing, language and messaging, to make those premium buyers feel seen and heard as well, to allow them to navigate into that premium offer suite. So with obviously 2026 coming up and thinking about pivoting or navigating services, what from a buying perspective worked in 2025 that potentially is no longer going to work in 2026? Or is there something of a trend coming in 2026 where buyers are buying differently to 2025?
So I would say that in the last few years, people have been okay with the amount of choice there is. Like, okay, there's all these choices. I can make a decision based on what I can see. But going into this year, and we've seen these changes already a bit in 2025, where there is just so much information, so many offers, so many different things people can actually buy. And where people have maybe like a less disposable income, or maybe they've had a bad experience in different areas, or they're more discerning, and quite rightly so. Where as well, obviously, AI is on the rise. Like there's so many things that we can access in an instant. There's so much information we can access, like where before maybe people were selling courses or low ticket offers, a lot of that information in those types of offers can be found in 2 seconds on ChatGPT. So it's so important to think, what are the changes that are happening right now? And in my offer suite, what am I selling that cannot be found on AI, found with AI, found on ChatGPT? And how am I leaning into the trends that I'm seeing in buyer behaviour? So people want closer proximity with what they're buying. People would rather pay more and have a closer proximity with a service they're buying into. People want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be felt. They're bored of investing in something and not really feeling like they're getting anything back or feeling like a number. So that's what we want to really steer away from. So if you're thinking about your service next year, I would always lead with, how can I make this different to anything that can be ChatGPT'd, anything else that I can see on the market? And how can I lead with service? How can I lead with, what does the client want and need? How can I deliver them the best results possible? Because then you can charge a premium for what you're offering. And then you do have an incredible relationship with your clients. And then you do have that client who wants to stay with you again and again and again. And it is the most profitable way to run your business. But it's always also really in line with the way that a lot of different industries are going, whether you are in the coaching industry or whether you are an interior designer. So does that answer your question there?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really important to kind of take note on all of that. And I think what you've just provided the listeners with is getting their value across in a way that your clients are not paying for something that they can go and Google or ChatGPT themselves. They're paying for perspective and experience, and how you can really support them in collapsing time to get from A to Z faster within that particular service from what they want to invest in. So I think it's really important that businesses and services are built with these premium offers in mind, and that it can't be something that they can go and get the information from AI so quickly themselves, because they could go and do that.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Lisa, this is your industry, so tell me if I'm saying this right or I've got the terminology right. But if I think about that example with interior designers, from what I can see on AI now, I've seen people put a picture of their house up, and then AI's done like a whole crazy drawing. Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? From what I've seen,
it's crazy.
And for interior designers, the way that I would think about that is, that's great that they can do that with AI, but what can you do that can't be ChatGPT'd? What can a client tell you, and what relationship can you form over a long period of time that means you can create something that you could never find on AI? Like that relationship, the time, not even just the time saving, but
the human touch as well.
The human touch, yeah, exactly. Like, what can you offer that is, because AI is great, right? But it's still like not a real person. So how can you build that connection into your premium signature offer in a way that can't be replaced? What is that connection part? Because that as well becomes your point of difference. That's a reason why somebody would come to you, because you are focusing on connection and you are making sure that they're seen and heard and felt in your containers. They've got that proximity to you. You're making sure they get the results that they want. They feel like they can trust you, and trust is going to be such a big thing in 2026.
Yeah, I think it's also, I was sitting in a mastermind group not so long ago at the beginning of December. And, we were talking about that trust level and how buyers buy. And it was about how you close the perception gap. And sometimes even messaging and wording is not going to be enough to cut it. They want to see you. Video sales pages, how are you orchestrating that value across for that particular service or what you're doing? Because people are going to buy into people and energy so much more from video content rather than written content as well. Is that something that you're seeing?
100%. So I want to make sure I say the right number here, and I think it's 87%. I think it's 87%. 87% of all of the world sales across industries are from some form of video.
That's crazy.
It's really important for people to, across industries, be using video in their selling, because like you say, people can feel your energy. You can explain it a lot better. Content overload. People don't want to read a really long sales page now. Like, we're seeing them being shorter, snappier, and having some element of video on there. So if you can have an element of video on a sales page, in your marketing, on a thank you page, on the landing page, it doesn't have to be in all these places and everything, but if you could have some element inside the client journey, people get to know you, and people want to trust you and get to know you, because they're not buying into calls. They're not buying into you coming in and telling them colours. They're buying into you as a person. And they're buying into, like you said, your perspective, your point of difference. So if you can show that and talk in a video about why you do what you do and why you want to support them, like, that is going to land so much more. I've seen that I did a sales page for my mastermind recently, and the latest two mastermind clients that came in, it was so interesting what they said to me on the call. They said, of course I want the 6-figure business and I want the five-figure cash months. You've said that, I want that. But the reason I actually chose to work with you is on the sales page, I really felt what you value and why you do what you do and how much you care about clients. And I'd listened on your sales page to that podcast interview that you did with a client. And I really felt like this. And it was so interesting because all these conversations we're having, it's been very intentional in my strategy the last few months. And to see that coming through with clients who are really, really aligned and who have listened to the audio on the sales page and are buying into the program because of the values of the program and me, instead of just, well, I can get you to this place in your business. It's so interesting.
That's really, I think that is such a key point moving forward into 2026 about the video. And I really invite the listeners to pause at this certain point before we kind of wrap up the podcast to really think about, if you are positioning yourself with a premium signature offer for 2026, what do you need to do to change your website, your sales page, your Instagram? How are you going to inject more video into that so that the buyer can really feel you and your energy? So I want you to think about that. But whilst you're thinking about that, Serena, before we wrap up the podcast, and thank you for all of the value that you've given today, what would be the final tip or piece of value that you would want to give a man or a woman listening to this going into 2026 for their business?
So we've talked a lot about the premium signature offer, so I'm actually not going to go down that route. I want everybody in 2026 to really think about why you are running your business, and is the way that you're running your business in 2026 currently aligned with what you're trying to create in your life? So whether it's the freedom or whether it's the type of clients that you're working with, is there an alignment there? And if not, pull back and get super clear on why you are doing what you're doing, what your values are, and how can you make sure that your offers and your way of running your business do align with that freedom? Because the values and why you do what you do, that's going to go into your marketing and messaging. But also, if you can make sure that your offers and your strategy are aligned with the freedom and the way that you want to run your business, that is so important for you to actually just have a year that you enjoy next year.
It's so important for people to take stock of that and think about, you become a business owner for a reason. Why do you want to do what you do? And what type of year do you want to have in your business as well? Which is so important.
100%. Yeah, you've nailed it there with that one.
I love it. Serena, thank you so much for coming on to today's podcast to celebrate the Christmas Advent Calendar podcast and give all of your amazing value.
Thank you so much for having me, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone.
Thank you. And I will be back again tomorrow with another Powerhouse podcast. And until then, see you soon. Take care. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Design Boss Dialogue. If you love what you heard, then please share the podcast with your friends and any women that could do with a dose of empowerment just from me. I would love to hear your thoughts around today's podcast with your key takeaways and wins, because your feedback means everything to me. Also, don't forget to leave a review as well as hit that follow button so you never miss out on any inspiring conversations with me or any other trailblazing women I have on. Stay tuned for more exciting episodes, and remember, unleashing your inner design power and unlocking your true potential is only a click away. See you next time.